This is Donna.
And this is TJ.
We're the Hills.
And this is
Dinner.
and a Marriage.
We're back.
And we're back.
And I'm going to cut my into shop talk on this one too, since it's a whole second episode. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There you go.
Shop talk. Shop talk. Do a little shop talk with Donna. Okay, like, follow, subscribe, and share. And please hit that notification bell. We are available on all social medias through our link tree. And we just started a Patreon. And if you could join the Patreon, it is free to join. And then $3 a month if you'd like some bonus features. And that would be awesome. We would really appreciate it. And back to the show. Go.
Go? Where am I going?
Oh, you're starting it off, man.
Oh, wow.
We're going to talk about China.
So now, currently, the Biden administration is not... I'm not going to put out there, if this is not false information, that anybody's saying that we're going to get into a war with China.
Oh.
But they're not denying that we could get into a possible war with China very soon. And China is still not denying that they're going to try to go and get into a war with Taiwan. And then Taiwan just got a new president, and no one on the China or American side seemed pretty excited about who won.
Who did?
Oh, it was... Oh, now you're going to make me look it up while we're on the air?
Well, no. I
No,
don't
that's
want
cool.
you to
I
look
want
it
to.
up. What I'm saying about that is that's not near as publicized about China and Taiwan as like Ukraine, Israel, and Hamas and all that. Like, you don't hear about China, Taiwan near as much. So I guess my question to it was, just the other day, maybe even yesterday, TJ had sent me a TikTok about how America's getting ready to fight with or have a war fight. I'm not sure what the terminology is there with China, and there's an island off of China that the U.S. military has made into a training.
Yes. Training facility.
Training facility. And yeah, so it puts them a lot closer to China, so they don't have to stop and refuel and do all the things. So I don't know. I mean, I don't really see any reason as to why to do that unless you're either defending China or going to war with China. So
This is the thing. And I still don't understand it, right? So this is... Back in the day, you had the hippies. Okay? You had Woodstock. You had peace-loving hippie smell and the whole deal and drugs and all the stuff. And everybody was like, oh my God, we love you. We love you. We hate the government. We hate all the wars. We hate Vietnam. We hate all this stuff. We're totally just anti-war. Blah, bitty, blah, bitty, blah. Right? Okay. You're right. Wars suck. Don't go to war. Don't cause wars. Don't do dumb things that cause wars. And they've caused wars for like a really, really, really long time. It's an easy way to funnel money. It's an easy way to basically get money lost so that you can say, oh, well, for this defense budget, we had all this stuff go on, right? It was like, pull away that Joe Biden pulled out of Afghanistan. I did see a guy on TikTok the other day. Okay. So there's a service member, and he said, I was in Afghanistan. Like, I got deployed over there, and we were there for like 3 weeks. And there were weapons that the government gave to me and said, we issue you these weapons. Oh, when they left, they were told, leave these weapons and whatever. They're like, oh, okay. You know, because the Biden administration left like
a lot.
It was like, I want to say, like, in reality, it was like close to $1 billion worth of weapons.
Yeah.
Like between helicopters and tanks and small arms and rockets and crap and whatever.
I
So the service members have been said, or told, leave these things here. Like, you don't need to take it with you. But now they're all getting back charged. And there's some people that have been charged upwards of $3,500. Can you imagine being in the military
Kinda
and
like
you
your
don't really,
student loans.
huh?
It's like kinda like student loans. It's the same thing he did with that. "Oh, we're
Forgiveness of
forgiving."
student loans is the biggest load of crap ever on the planet.
Oh,
And
I
anybody
know.
that agrees with it and is like, oh, well, it should be. And no, you are.
Refresh me on so why did he pull everything out of Ukraine?
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan. I'm sorry. So why did he pull everything out of Afghanistan? He just one day was like, everybody leave and leave all the stuff there. Like there was no. Why is that?
Okay. So I still personally believe that Afghanistan was not a war that we should have been in, but we had been in a war in Afghanistan for like the last 20 years.
Right. I knew that.
At some point, the war needed to come to an end.
Mm-hmm.
And even President Trump was like, we are going to get all of our people out. We're going to do everything. Okay. So the war itself just needed to end. It was nothing that we could ever win.
Right.
When you decide to leave something like that, you don't just pull out with a quickness, leave everybody stranded, not have everybody in the right situation to where they can leave. You don't leave all of the assets, like the military assets. When I say that, like the people that were undercover, that were from Afghanistan, that have been helping the Americans forever. You do not leave them stranded by themselves, because when people find out their names, they're going to kill them and their whole families.
Right.
So it was not the fact that he left, because everybody agreed we needed to leave.
Right. We needed to pull
It
out of
was
there.
the way that he did it was like on a scale of the way you should do it and the way you should not do it. He did it the way you should really, 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 really not do it.
But so was it like, hey, you guys over there, tomorrow, everybody out, just leave everything.
Basically. And then you had all the military people being like,
Wait, what about all our stuff
if you want to leave this here, we should blow it all up first.
or something?
Nope, it's cool.
But yeah, that just doesn't make sense. Like to anyone, that shouldn't make sense. Like, why would you leave all like tanks and guns and
Helicopters and night vision and like everything that made like the US badass when they went in there. Like that's one of the big things is like with Navy SEALs and all of
so
our operators, like it's all of like
so
night
what do
vision
we
and
know
everything.
that Afghanistan's done with that stuff? Sold it all to
Oh,
other
here,
countries?
there, and everywhere. I would imagine between that and Iran and all the stuff and whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it is
That's
what it is.
crazy.
But,
I
you
read
know,
something recently that they're like dressing up like US soldiers, so it's hard to decipher who's who.
hmm
That's crazy. Like, wait, are they US soldiers? Because they're dressed like US soldiers. But insane.
yeah.
So many wars going on, right? So there's the Israel Hamas going on, right?
Yep.
And then now we're talking about, or well, there's China and Taiwan.
Well, that's not a thing yet. Don't be
Oh,
spreading
I'm
false
sorry.
information.
Not a thing yet.
But that's something that could
That's
possibly happen.
potential.
But then there's the uni. I don't know how to say it. I need to look it up on my phone, but um they're backed by Iran, and they've been the people that have been now they're trying to target cargo ships
Hmm.
over in the Mediterranean.
And then there's the war in Ukraine.
Well, yeah, but we already said that. But
No, I said Israel and
oh,
Hamas.
Israel, yes, and Ukraine. But the problem with what's going on currently is okay. Babe,
Yeah,
you're beautiful.
thanks.
You know what a proxy war is?
No.
Oh. Okay. So a proxy war is like basically where you're kind of backing somebody, but you're not really you're trying to not get dirty in the process, right?
Uh-huh.
Come on now,
Okay.
stay engaged.
I'm listening.
So we've been involved in a bunch of proxy wars. So even for the United States, Ukraine is a proxy war because we've not.
Because we're just funding. We're not
Well, we're
actually.
funding and and I don't know if we really gave them Abram tanks yet or not, but there was talk of them giving them Abram tanks.
So Ukraine is currently at war with Russia.
Yep.
And Israel is at war with Hamas or Palestine.
Yes.
And then it's a possibility of China and Taiwan. But that's not a thing yet.
It's not a thing yet,
Okay.
yes. But
Proxy
what
wars.
is bigger than that currently is that the Huni or the Uni, I don't know how to pronounce it. They are a militant group, but they're backed by Iran. And they've been disturbing the flow of cargo over in the Mediterranean. Because of everything they've been doing, and they've been trying to go and pirate all these cargo ships and disrupt trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then Britain and America decide, well, we should go blow them up, do some airstrikes and stuff. Well, now either way, we've done some airstrikes now, which puts us physically into something in the Middle East. Can we just leave it all alone? Like, I get that they're trying to. The problem is, this is the problem. For too long, America keeps getting engaged into conflicts that are all super politicized, who have political implications with no real outcomes. Because it's like this. Greatest military power in the world. If I was the president and I was to be getting involved in anything, right? I'd bring in all the military leaders for America. And I'd be like, how do we win? Well, you could do this and this and this and this. You might piss somebody off and whatever and blah, blah. No, I need to know, how do we win? Like, within 2 weeks, how do we just win?
Right.
Because the goal, I'm sorry, but in
win.
war is just like a game. And the outcome is to win. No one ever is like, we're just going to play for like
Let's just beat them
3
down.
hours until we're tired or whatever, right? Like, you don't do stuff like that. But we've not ever been, none of our military leaders have ever been given the go ahead to be like, okay, the object of the game is to win.
So what is the basis of the war between the Huni and, oh my gosh, and Ukraine?
It's not.
What do you mean?
The Huni and
Israel?
it's because of they're trying to back Palestine.
Oh, the Huni are backing Palestine.
Yes.
And Huni are from Yemen, just so we're...
Yes, but they're funded by Iran.
Okay. Okay, got it.
Now, quite honestly, this is my own personal opinion. I know there's other people in the world that feel the same way and whatever. The United States currently doesn't need to F with Iran.
Oh, for sure.
Like, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. The biggest problem that we have currently is the amount of when it comes to trade and oil and stuff. We get hip deep into that, you're going to see oil prices go way up.
Yeah, so the US is like in a conundrum. They want to say, "Oh, we're backing Israel," but they really don't want to step on the toes of Palestine, Iran, that whole thing, because
we just don't want to get involved in actual
war.
our people boots on the ground conflict.
Yeah.
But
not with them.
with really anybody over there. We don't need to get involved in any wars.
So they are only fighting, just so that I know and will tell everybody
Yeah,
because we're trying to break it down,
for
right?
sure.
So Palestine or Hamas. So Palestine voted Hamas into
Power.
power. I don't quote me on the year. It's been a little bit. And they are trying to overrun Israel, basically to take Israel over and engulf Israel as part of Palestine.
Yes.
And Yemen, the Houthi, are backing Iran, or
No.
I'm sorry, Palestine to do that as well, to engulf all that, which I'm not sure if that's going to backlash onto Yemen to now we're going to engulf Yemen as well. But I don't know. That biblically, that's a whole tough scenario because Israel and everything. So all of that's really scary. And Hamas is scary, scary. And I know there's so much false narratives and things going out there as far as, and no, none of us here in the US know really the truth of anything because we've been so masked by the media. But anybody that comes in and kills innocent women and children, and it's not just killing them, I mean it's some
They butchered babies
brutality
like with
that's
axes
happening.
and
Yeah.
hatchets and
And
like
so Hamas is coming in and doing that to the Israelites, and the Israelites are retaliating against Palestine because Hamas is Palestine. And so it becomes this whole thing like, save Israel, save Palestine. And it's so scary. And that's what's going on over there. As far as the US's involvement in it, that's where I think you're saying we need to just stay out of it.
So this is my take on it, right? There are no countries over in the Middle East. There are some people maybe in the Middle East or whatever that would believe in like a democratic form of government because they would like to vote for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I 100% believe that to be true.
For sure.
But with the way that their religions are, they're kind of still going to do what they're told and they're going to believe what they believe. Okay? And they are going to be steadfast in that. That is fine. It is 100% fine. And we need to leave them over there and we need to let them be who they are.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I get that sometimes as Americans we're led to believe that no, there was a great atrocity going on and like
we need to step
people
in.
were being killed and people that were
Yeah.
trying to be Christian were being killed and we're going to go in there and we're going to try to fix all this and whatever, but it's really all smoke and mirrors and it's all just for political gain and money laundering and a whole bunch of crap. It's all it really is. But we need to back Israel. And I think all the rest of it, we need to leave it the hell alone. And I think that we needed to go back to what we were trying to do under President Trump and be energy free from the rest of the world, produce our own oil and produce all of our own stuff. And that Keystone Pipeline and all that should have gone through.
Open up the pipes.
And we should have been able to start selling oil to people. We need to start being able to pay down our debt. We needed to start doing stuff so that it's like this.
So that we're a force to reckon with again and not relying on all these other countries.
America should have tried to basically do like what we were doing and become its own little off-grid thing so that you kind of are a little bit shielded from all the rest of the craziness in the world, right? Because right now, we are completely reliant on anything that has to do with cargo being shipped from another country to us currently. Okay? We were technically, supposedly, still are the world's greatest superpower. But we're acting like a whole bunch of adolescent children. And we're run by, like, I saw this meme the other day. It wasn't a meme. It was like a little short commercial.
A reel?
Oh, no. It was so funny about the retirement White House.
What?
What food they served, how they had ice cream time, good night's sleep,
4:00 dinners,
tons of golf.
That's what's happening there.
Oh my gosh, it was hilarious.
Wow, it's like the retirement home.
It said at the end of your stay here, you'll feel like a president.
Oh, yeah, all right.
But no, I mean
It's called the
if you
presidential
want to be
treatment.
bought off, we need public servants once again.
Mm-hmm.
We need people, and this is the way I feel that the way that the world should be run right now.
We need people for the people.
If I was in government, people can hate me on this all they want. This is exactly the way I would roll. 100%. Not even kidding. It would go back old school, old school. I'm talking founding fathers, old school. So here's TJ. TJ's in office. You need to be able to be steadfast in what you believe. You can't be bought off. Like, I am an idealist. 110% an idealist.
Yeah.
You can come to me with $1 billion, trillion, gazillion dollars, and if it is not going to make where I live or my country better, I do not want to have anything to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
If it is only going to enrich me, no, there's no way. Because
what's
I don't really
sad
care.
is it's brought Americans to that. Like right now, I feel like, and I mean, maybe you do too, like what I want to do now is just for me and my family because the government's not going to take care of us. Like we have to do what we need to do because if we have a whole grid shut down and, money goes away, like I lose my job, whatever, like we're doing this so that we don't have to rely on that. And it's sad because the government was supposed to be there to help take care and help its own people, not.
The government is supposed to do what they're told. People are supposed to get elected because all these people said, over here, we're not going to pay any more taxes. And that person is supposed to go into office and go, we're not having any more taxes, or we're not raising taxes, or we're not doing whatever. It is a government for the people, by the people. They are supposed to do what the people tell them. They're not supposed to help with anything. They're not supposed to do anything.
That helping in essence?
No. So the federal government wasn't supposed to help do anything. The federal government was supposed to provide roads. It was supposed to provide border security, and it was supposed to provide a military for the country. That is the only thing that the federal government was supposed to do originally. Okay. Now the federal government is so big. But that's the problem is you now have
too much government,
way too much government. And then what are you going to do though? I mean, are you going to convince all the people that they have their jobs through the government to vote against the government? Because then they're going to vote themselves out of a job?
Right, no.
That's the problem too, is if people in Congress can vote themselves raises and they get the best medical care, they get the best retirement, they get the best, they get the best, they get the best, they get the best. If they're supposed to be a public servant, why do they get anything better than a private citizen?
Yeah.
It should never, ever, ever be like that. You should get the lowest of the low. Or, take that back, not the lowest of the low. What does the average citizen get for health insurance in the United States? That's what you get. If you want to be part of the government, you get that.
That's the sad thing, though, is like an average citizen, which I would say would be us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Working people, our health insurance, like we pay the most for it and we get the least benefit.
Exactly. I'm just saying it should be fair across the board. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The reason that's
why people go into socialized medicine and
yes, but one of the reasons that our government debt is so high is because of all these huge pensions that we're paying all these past people for, and health insurance for life and all the crap that they get. It's like a big pyramid scheme is all it is.
Tenured or whatever.
But
this is why people fall into and believe the socialist system. Because they're like, yeah, we should all get government benefits. Which, to a point, but that's not really what we're trying to say.
So there's the way that this is the way that socialism works, just so everybody knows, in case you don't know. Everyone's going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's going to be equal. You're going to get the same pay. You're going to get the same health insurance. You're going to get the same.
Mm-hmm.
But the government doesn't produce anything, and the government doesn't make money. So the government takes money from people that make money. Well, eventually, those people that are out there that are working and they're making all this money and they're paying into the system, and they're like, wait, I got Joe Bob next to me. He doesn't even work, but he gets the same amount of money as me. He gets the same amount of medical as me. He gets the same as me, but he doesn't even work. It just starts to knock it down, knock it down, knock it down to where you kill the drive of the average working person to not even want to work anymore.
Yeah.
And then eventually socialism implodes on itself. Socialism has never, ever, ever throughout history been proven to work yet. It won't work.
Wasn't Canada been socialist for a long time?
Well, yeah, I mean, they
socialist?
have all their health care and all of whatever, but I mean,
It's
if
like
you
a
look at them, the
part
amount
of
of
it.
taxes that they pay and their parliament and Justin
Oh, yeah.
Trudeau's a moron and I don't know, all
That's
that.
another story for another day.
Wow.
But yeah, no, there isn't really. It's what one thing that we were going to mention before is everybody says, "Oh, we're a democracy, but we're not a democracy.
We are a constitutional republic. Now, another short little tidbit for information in case people don't know. So, a democracy and a constitutional republic are very similar. They have a lot of similarities. You can look it up and they will show side by side comparisons, but the biggest to know that is the difference between a constitutional republic and a democracy is in a democracy, 51% of the people can control 49% of the people because it is a majority rule. In a constitutional republic, the biggest takeaway from a constitutional republic is the right of the individual. Every individual has a right. It cannot be trampled on as given to you by God. One of the bigger downfalls of a constitutional republic is there can be a lot of bickering. If you have two parties, which is why I don't believe we should have the two-party system anymore. I don't personally believe that we should have a federal government anymore. I think that it should all go back to the states.
I agree.
And we would not pay federal taxes, and we would take all of the retards that are in our states, if they're doing a bad job, and vote them out. And then we would also vote to never raise taxes ever without stipulations of if the people agree, because the people in power, not power, the people that have been doing the work for the people have been doing a really, really, really freaking good job. Because if I was to run a company for a guy that owned a company and run it the way our federal government has run our country,
I would be mad at you.
oh, I would be fired, like super fired.
Yeah.
Right? So, but these people can supposedly do whatever they want because they're like, nope, you voted for me and it's 4 years no matter what.
Right.
Really? Like, that's
Governor
what
Inslee.
that's what I want on a job application.
I want to be like that.
No, like I'm hired for 5 years and I'm going to get paid this for 5 years no matter what the fuck I do.
Because you hired me.
Yeah, because you said you would. So no, I think that there should be
more, definitely term limits, more limited term limits. Wow, that's what tongue twister.
Nobody in government, in any government, should be longer than 8 years ever.
Well, and I think that it should be reviewed. Like, come on.
Well, it should be reviewed. There should be yearly reviews, right? Like, I think that people could be elected for 4 years. And I think that nobody should ever spend more than 8 years. The reason I say that is like this. Because most people back in the day, they did this and they went in once a month or whatever, or they did 3 days a month or whatever, and then they had their normal job.
Dude.
Okay, so let's say nowadays we want to have some people in and we want to pay them decent and whatever, but you can't do it for more than 8 years. It just isn't going to happen because there's too many people. It should never get to the point where we have what we currently have, where you've got a bunch of 70, 80, and 90-year-old people running a country.
Right.
Most of those people probably have to have depends. And most of the time you'd be like, let's go visit grandma. Not like, oh, grandma's running the country. No.
Grandma's not running the country.
Like Joe Biden. I mean, he's been in government for almost 50 years or whatever. What did he do? He oppressed a bunch of black people and frickin' made some laws that put a whole bunch of people in jail for years and years and years and years for what's right now considered a misdemeanor.
Well, and the thing is if you don't believe that he's a puppet, seriously, like, it doesn't matter what side you're on, what media you watch, you can see how he is. He's senile. Like, there's so many things going on that are red flags all over the place that you can't possibly be like, oh yeah, he's got it all together. Like, there's no possible way that anyone believes that. He is a puppet. Somebody else is pulling those strings.
Mm-hmm.
Will we ever know who? Probably not.
I think it's Obama.
I know that. What you and
It's
I'm
Obama
sure
and Big Mike.
It's obviously the party, the Democratic Party, but couldn't pinpoint to what all that is. It's like Hillary Clinton, Obama. It could be anybody, but it's probably a party as a whole that pulls those strings.
Well, no, it's not. No, it's not even really a party. I'm not even.
You don't think?
Oh no, dude, I'm not trying to claim a party. I think they all suck. I think that the Republicans currently suck less than the Democrats.
I think they all suck. I'm just saying it's
the
Democratic Party that's
pulling
the strings for
I
Biden.
still think, I do. But, well, yes, but I mean, I still think that.
Well, no.
Oh my gosh. Let me get it out.
You still think
that George Bush is behind a little bit of some of this stuff, too. That's
George
me.
W?
Yep.
The Republican?
Yeah. Dude, he's like good friends with the Obamas.
Oh, see, and that's where the tides turn.
Like, and the Patriot Act, that was horrible, horrible decision by him.
Oh, for sure. But that's where the tides turned, I think, for people that were on the fence a little. Like, oh, I like some of the Democratic views versus Republican views when he went into office and he just made a mockery out of it.
Oh, yeah.
That was like, oh my gosh, this guy. Like,
that
he
guy.
was the worst. Like, just such a doofus.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
He was a doofus. Yikes.
So, yeah, I don't want anybody to, I guess it's kind of like Dan Bongino says, Dan
Bongino.
Well, no, he says, what's his thing that he says? He says, the Republicans cannot solve all of your problems, but the Democrats are definitely the cause of all your problems. Okay, so
yeah,
I believe there's a lot of truth to that, but I also have a lot less faith in government than he does and some other people that I listen to. My take is this. I think that currently right now, the federal government is running around like a chicken with his head cut off. I personally believe the republic has fallen. I think that we can't come back from where they've put us. And it's taken years and years and years and years. And I'm not saying that it's all Joe Biden, but he's definitely a huge cause of the fall of the republic currently, because I don't believe that if some of these possible wars escalate, it's something that we can't come back from.
All I can think of is Nixon. I am not a criminal. And if you haven't seen that, you should look it up.
Right.
Because that was probably the last time in a U.S. president's history that they actually impeached someone and followed through with it, right? Was Nixon, or he resigned. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
But it was that whole
Watergate.
issue.
But do you understand like how much plant there was in the Watergate? There's a whole thing on it.
Oh, I know.
Our government set him up.
Oh, for sure.
Just like our government killed Kennedy. That's what I believe. I believe since that point in time.
I don't think there's anyone anymore that doesn't think Kennedy was assassinated by, I mean, obviously he was assassinated, but by our own government. Because there's no way Lee Harvey Oswald did all that.
No, and it's been able to be proven.
There's so many conspiracies on it for sure. But all of this, I mean, it's been building up and building up and building up for just to put a divide between the people, to contradict everything, to make all these things be so clashing that unless you can open your eyes to it and say both parties are wrong, do you pick the lesser of the two? I still feel like just keep going the way it's going and let it burn. That's my own opinion.
Yeah, kind of, but everybody needs to stop giving them their money. Like, you need to stop
Yeah,
paying taxes.
that's we need to bring that back up
you
because we
need to
said every
Yep,
episode.
you need to just stop paying taxes to the federal government. Keep as much of your money in your own paycheck, put it in a separate account, do whatever, because I mean, currently right now you can also
Put it
find
under
some
your
bank accounts
mattress.
with some pretty cool interest rates, right? Because
That's
everything's
right.
gotten so funky. So, if you are one of those people where you're like, oh, but I'm getting a refund, and you kind of
You
got scammed for a long time and they got to collect the interest on your money, you need to, dial that back. But
collect your own interest.
exactly, but it is, you need to be able to, if you believe in freedom, ultimate freedom, you need to be able to create a society inside of a society with your friends and neighbors that all agree the same. Because the last thing that anybody needs, and is one of the reasons that I moved, is neighbors
We
like
moved.
people had in Germany.
Yeah, you don't want to be.
You don't want to be that.
Yeah, you don't want to be Anne Frank's neighbor.
Yeah, you don't want to be surrounded by a bunch of fearful sheep that will burn you if they have to just because they're afraid and have no backbone and can't stand up for themselves. That's why I'm saying freedom of speech, speak the truth. If somebody's trying to tell you that a man's a woman and a woman's a man and all this crap and you don't believe in that and you don't agree with it, say no.
Right.
Just say no. I mean,
I don't need to be pulled
right?
into your crazy.
And I'm not like going to go off on some weird tangent about that because I don't believe that it's something that should be like given that much acknowledgement. But at the same time, I don't personally believe all that and all this DEI and all this crap. Can suck it.
Suck it. That's the takeaway.
Yep.
So the takeaway, I would say though, is taxes. Don't
pay taxes.
Don't
taxes
pay taxes.
suck.
We're over it. I
Yep.
mean, obviously you have to buy groceries and whatever, but we're talking about out of your paycheck. Go exempt.
Yeah, you have to still pay the FICA tax and your Social Security and whatever. Right. There's certain things I get that you can't do. We have to at some point like be able to like take some sort of stand as a population. And if we could do that, we could quickly solve some government issues because they would be like, what in the world? And they can't come arrest everybody. And then all those 87,000 IRS agents that they just newly employed wouldn't have jobs anymore. Yeah, unfortunately that sucks. But if you got that job, you probably suck anyways.
But then the second thing that we'll go into, hopefully next week, we're kind of on the fence on if we're going to watch that Netflix movie or not. What was the name of it?
Left Behind.
Left Behind. We're on the fence on it, but I kind of want to.
I just want the Cliff Notes.
Yeah, so I might watch it but
bury my head in the sand.
So my second takeaway on this is buy a map. And I know we mentioned this before, but buy map because you might not be able
paper maps.
Yes, paper map.
And if you need to, buy a magnifying glass so you can read that thing.
Right. Get the U.S. map, get your state map, and anywhere you think you might go.
Any state you think you might go to, get that map.
Get that map. So.
And also, if you have the ability and if you have the want and you've been on the fence and you weren't sure and whatever, take a chance. Go move somewhere else. Yeah. One reason that we moved is it's impossible to not have to pay all the taxes in the state that you live in when they're an overtaxed state.
That is true.
And it's something that you can't.
I mean, our own kids are just drowning in tax and whatever in Washington. Like the struggle is real up there. But that's like going into more things. one of the things I did want to mention is we're changing it up for season 2 for Dinner and a Marriage. Like before, we thought about, oh, we'll mention dinner and our marriage, right? But it's all kind of snowballed into this. Like looking back on it, obviously we have fun and we do fun things and we hang out, whatever, and we have our other channel, The Hills on Wheels, for that kind of thing and whatever. But we really wanted to talk about this because hitting so close to home, and it's the reason why we moved here, or one of the reasons, is the whole political crazy and how we feel about it, and yeah.
You needed a brush of breath.
Wow.
Whoa.
He
We
pulled it
needed
on us.
a breath of fresh air
Yeah.
and some space to stretch out and some like-minded people and just a more close-knit.
So you're just on that journey with us, and you can agree with us or not agree with us. It doesn't make us bad people or you bad or.
Yep. But I would just say, I mean, I know that a lot of people, the biggest thing is everybody bought into the whole lie, and you've got a bunch of debt, and you got to stay near a city so that you can have your job and do whatever, and can't really just go out and do. But
Horrible for all
after
those people.
everything that did happen with COVID, I decided I would never be under anybody's thumb again. And people politically trying to manipulate other people to do things that they didn't want to do and violate everything that you have as a human being.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, now we keep going. Where are we? Yeah, we gotta wrap it up.
She's a buzzkill sometimes.
Oh,
wow. We're out.
Bye. And before you go, visit us on our social medias at Linktree/The Hills on Wheels, linktr.ee/The Hills on Wheels, no spaces.